Hey everyone, it's Nicole Watt, the Pixel Maven at Pixel Maven's Retreat, and today we are back up in my craft loft to look at some more organization solutions. Today we're focusing on ribbon and embellishments and my photo booth. So we will get started, and right now we're looking at my ribbon, my washi tape, and my embellishments. I do actually keep them all fairly contained to just these two shelves. I am not a ribbon hoarder. I use very little ribbon in my designs, but you know, I'm always open to trying new things. So who knows, maybe eventually I'll expand this collection and I'll have even more ribbon. The great thing about that is that these containers are stackable, and they have little pegs on the bottom of them, so you can continue stacking them as high as you need, and they'll just keep stacking on top of each other. There we go. And on the bottom, I can store my washi tape on the spools, and I've added a larger spool to kind of keep them more stable. So I have all my washi tape on the bottom, and there's a little serrated edge here, so I can just rip off the washi tape. And if I have a little extra piece at the end, I always just kind of throw it on here and add to the decoration. So it makes it a little more exciting than just white. And on the top, I keep all of my ribbon, and I don't like to have my ribbon on a spindle because I just like to take it off, take it to my desk, cut off the piece I need, and then go ahead and put it back. I don't like to have to guesstimate exactly how much I need and roll it off the spool and then roll it back, and that's all just too much for me. So that's how I manage both my washi tape and my ribbon. For those of you with a bigger ribbon collection, this might not work for you, but it is always an option. These boxes also have little cubbies on the ends of some of them, so I'm able to store both my fringe scissors and my ribbon scissors. See, they say ribbon only. I keep those all stored right here, so I know where they're at all times. And then I have my baker's twine, and so I'm keeping all of my ribbon and twine together, and these just kind of sit here on their side. And then over in the corner, again, another great use for these little cubby spaces is the storage for my rotary stamps. The little handle just fits in there perfectly, and they just kind of sit out of the way, and I can grab them when I need them, or they can just sit pretty in the corner and be a decoration. So one of the last things to share about ribbon here is this is how I store all of my ribbon scraps. It's not only decorative, but it's useful. I can see right into it, and if I'm looking for something like, say, I want this Bermuda Bay piece of ribbon here, I know that I already have a piece cut and it might work for me, and I'll check that out first before I go ahead and cut a new piece off of the spool. Right below my ribbon and washi is where I keep all of my other embellishments, and I have two storage solutions in place here. These over here on the right are something that you might find at an automotive center or in a hardware store. It's really for storing stuff that you would use for your car or out in the wood shop, like nails or whatever. But these little bins end up being the perfect size to store a container of buttons or brads or other embellishments that we carry. So it has a little divider, so I can put two different types in each container, and they come out really easily. So if we look at this one here, I've got two different ribbon, or two different color families of buttons. So I've got the neutrals and the regals. And then in this other one here, I've got the brights and the subtles. I've got my other buttons in here. So I don't have this whole thing filled up. I have the bottom has stuff all the way across, and the top ones are empty right now. And then over on the left hand side here is where I store all of my embossing powders. And they fit 2 or 3 wide, so I can fit up to 3 in here, which works out really nice. Takes up just a little bit of space, and I'm the kind of person, I don't really try to reuse my embossing powder so much. I use it not too often, so it doesn't really bother me if I just take it out and sprinkle a little bit on, spread it out, and then go ahead and dump it in the trash That's one of the things I'm not really all that frugal about, but it works out for me. So again, just the bottom ones are full, and then of course I can keep the our dazzling details in here as well. So that's half of the embellishments. The others are over here in a more flat storage, and this is where I have my pearls, my rhinestones, and my candy dots. And the nice thing about even the candy dots is I can keep in the back here the candy dot bases right here with the dots. So if I decide I want to use a base, I've got them right there. So it's really easy for me to tell at a glance how many packages I have, how many I've used. You know, sometimes you go through and you use all the small ones before you use all the large ones, and you can really see what you've got as far as inventory goes. And then over here on the far left, I've got in the top here the doilies and the shaker frames. They all fit really nicely in here. And then down here at the bottom, just some extra ribbon. So these are basically empty, and I just use them for spare storage. I do have a little cubby space on the top here, which works out really great for some of my super old embossing powder. If anyone remembers Gold Glory, before we just had gold. Yes, I'm still using it. So before we move on to the photo booth, really quickly, this is my little mini business center. It's where I keep all of my Stampin' Up! Business supplies centrally organized. So I've got all of my extra catalogs and order forms. I've got folders for workshops and hostesses all ready to go, and also some additional folders that have our current specials in it and current photopolymer sets and all that good stuff. So this is really about the only place that's 100% dedicated to business information, but it works out really well for me. And then in the shelves below, so in these little metal bins, I keep some consumables that either we can cash and carry or that I just haven't finished using yet. So like half-used containers of sponges and refill bottles of Stampin' Mist and things like that. So those go in those bins, and I can just grab it and go. And then of course we have some fabric bins down here, and over in the left one I just have, let's take a look. I have my glue gun and other glues and tape, and in this one I have some paper and 3D items. And in this one, far one over here, is all of the papers and extra stuff. So like I was telling you a couple of episodes about those vintage coasters, well, here they are. And someday I might recover those and turn them into something really cute. So the last section we're going to look at today is my photo booth. And this is not a still picture that you're looking at. This is actually a card that is sitting in my photo booth right now. So I'm going to go ahead and back up and show you what this whole setup looks like. And I'm hoping that a lot of you find this inspirational and helpful for any of the blogging and photo taking that you're doing. Okay, so now that let me get this all in view here for you. Okay, so this is the photo booth, and you can easily do this in any kind of bookshelf. On top I've got my full-on DSLR and tripod and some other equipment. Honestly, I don't use it that often. I actually use my iPhone to take pictures of my cards that go up on the blog. And just like I'm using my iPhone right now to take this video. And then in the center section, I just took out the shelf and made it kind of a double wide or double high space, so that way I could put in like a 12 by 12 or any other 3D object and make sure that I had enough space to take the picture. And I lined the back with just some foam sheet, and you can get these pretty big rolls from Michael's or online at Amazon. And so I just went ahead and filled it in. I used to have a shelf in there that made this a little shorter, but I wanted to make sure I had enough space for larger objects. So I added a second sheet, which is why you kind of see those two lines there. But again, I can easily clean those up using Picasa or any other photo editing software once I've taken the picture. The lights are probably the best part of this setup. So the foam is nice because in the back you don't have a line at the corner. It rolls softly, it makes a nice rounded edge on the back, and so it really looks kind of like a professional backdrop when you look at the pictures. But the lights themselves are just like $5 clip lights from Walmart or Target, and it's the light bulb that really makes a difference. They're compact fluorescent light bulbs, and the key is to make sure that you get daylight temperature. So with the new lights, the LED lights, you see a lot where they talk about the temperature of the light. It's 3,000 or 2,700 or whatever. So with these compact fluorescents, you will find light bulbs that specifically say on them that they are daylight light bulbs. And they've really allowed me to take pictures both in the middle of the night, you know, it could be 9 o'clock at night and completely dark outside, and I'm taking pictures and it looks like it's the middle of the day. And it gives me great lighting, and I have to do, I really don't have to do a lot of editing after I've taken the picture. So that really has been a key to my success on my blog and the photos that I'm taking. Well, that's it for today. I hope you join me tomorrow for our last installment where we'll be looking at some organization and storage tips over at my craft desk. Until then, happy crafting.